And thank you for being with us for KGW News at 5 o'clock tonight. A Portland police officer is being charged in connection with last summer's violent protests. The officer is accused of hitting a woman in the head with a baton. KGW's Kyle Aboshi spoke with the DA and has reaction from the police union. Kyle.
Dan, a Multnomah County grand jury indicted Officer Corey Budworth with a single count of fourth-degree assault. That's a misdemeanor. Budworth has been with Portland Police for 6 years and is a member of the rapid response team that handles crowd control. The case stems from an incident that occurred during a violent night of protest on August 18th. Video shared on social media showed an officer knock a woman down, then hit her in the head again with a baton when she was down. The woman, later identified as an independent photojournalist, sued the city of Portland in federal court. The city settled the case for $50,000. I spoke with Multnomah County DA Mike Schmidt earlier today.
I think, it's incumbent on any prosecutor in any jurisdiction to look at the facts of the case and the law and decide whether or not the law was broken.
The union representing Portland police officers issued a lengthy statement, including this. Unfortunately, this decorated public servant has been caught in the crossfire of agenda-driven city leaders and a politicized criminal justice system. The statement went on to describe the chaotic and violent situation police dealt with that night. Officers had declared a riot after someone threw a Molotov cocktail at the Multnomah building. The union argued Officer Budworth used appropriate force, a push, not a strike, to move the independent photojournalist out of the area. So far, a court date for Budworth's arraignment has not been scheduled.
All right, Kyle, thank you.
And all of a sudden, it's blam, and I thought my bus had exploded.
What a story. A TriMet bus driver who was shot while driving a bus is thankfully expected to make a full recovery. As Joe Ranieri reports, after first realizing that he was shot, that bus driver's first instincts weren't necessarily about himself, but went right to his passengers.
It wasn't personal. He wasn't aiming at the bus. He was just sending random bullets off into the universe to see where they went, and I stopped one.
A 13-year veteran of TriMet, Dale Tozier, was driving a bus on May 22nd along Northeast 102nd Avenue and Halsey when he was shot.
And when everything settled down, I saw the bullet hole right there, and I thought, oh, you've been shot.
Once he realized he was hit, Dale's mindset immediately shifted to his passengers.
I just needed to get everybody off the bus and then take care of myself.
That's exactly what he did. When he was in the Army, he served in the medical unit, and his training kicked right in, and he started administering first aid to his wound.
The first thing you want to know is make sure you're okay, and it's like, okay, didn't hit the lung, no vital organs, obviously didn't hit an artery, so you'll survive. Just slow the bleeding down and don't go into shock.
He had glass fragments in his eye from the windshield when the bullet went into the bus.
Felt my eye from the glass, and my eye was bleeding, and I kind of wiped the blood out of my eye, and I thought, no, you weren't shot there because you'd be dead.
The actual bullet?
Section of my clavicle that's missing, the clavicle stopped the bullet dead, but in the process the clavicle disintegrated, and so it'll have to regrow.
While he won't be getting back behind the wheel anytime soon, he knows he wasn't a target.
The bus was not the target. Yeah, apparently he was shooting at another vehicle or pedestrians, I don't know what. But the bullet just came straight down Halsey and went through my windshield.
Police just released this picture of a black Kia Soul they're calling a vehicle of interest. TriMet is offering a $2,500 reward that leads to an arrest in this shooting. Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
Cool and calm under pressure. How about that? Let's talk about milestones here when it comes to COVID. The first COVID-19 vaccines were administered in Oregon 6 months ago today, back on December 15th. With the majority of Oregonians now vaccinated, or at least with one shot, many mass vaccination sites have served their purpose, you could say, and will now close. The convention center and PDX airport clinics will close this weekend, and the site in Hillsborough will close a little later this month. Multnomah County Health Officer Jennifer Vine says the vaccine rollout, of course, could have gone smoother, but the biggest lesson is that they weren't as welcoming, as they say, to people who spoke other languages and communities of color.
We know that some of the governor's prioritization groups really emphasized professionals, so healthcare providers, teachers, for example. So that was a way to exclude certain communities of color in particular who are less represented in those groups.
Dr. Vine says while you'll see pop-up vaccine clinics in the future, once these mass vaccination sites are closed, they will be gone for good. In the Columbia Gorge, the cherry harvest is about to get underway. That means hundreds of workers are already there at the farms like Orchard Views just outside of the Dalles. In this year of COVID vaccinations, company president Brenda Thompson says that she hosted many vaccination events, but only about 40% of the workers have taken those shots so far. She wants everyone to stay healthy, but she's not going to force them to get the shot.
And then it was always this, do we all wear face covering, or do we allow the people who are vaccinated not to wear face covering? And, how much of all this information is private? So that's been always the difficult part, to make sure everybody feels comfortable when they come to work.
Wasco County, home of the Dalles, has a vaccination rate of about 57%. This group of federal workers from FEMA set up a vaccination center in the parking lot of St. Mary's School in the Dalles to make it easier for people to get the shot if they want it. They're going to be there for the next month and are open Tuesday through Sunday from noon until 6 p.m. Something we're diving into tonight on the story is capacity limits on public transit, leaving some riders waiting and waiting as buses and MAX trains pass them by. Riders will have to wait a little longer before these capacity limits are lifted in Oregon. Even as other transit agencies across the country do lift their limits, Oregon's restrictions will stay in place until we reach 70% adult vaccination. Some TriMet lines are really busy. Some people have to wait for a bus that has room.
Heard some people that I know of that were having issues working in the morning, that they see a lot more people in the morning. When I work in the swing shift, it usually doesn't really affect me at all.
Coming up tonight at 6, we're going to look at which lines are most affected by this. Washington makes its second vaccine lottery drawing today with more than 200 prizes up for grabs. Meanwhile, the state is still waiting for many of the winners of last week's drawing to actually come forward. Out of the 248 prizes, 103 were never claimed. The lottery says people are rightfully suspicious, so I can understand if you were too. This week, the Washington Attorney General's office posted a consumer alert about scams associated with this shot of a lifetime drawing. If your name is drawn, the lottery will only reach out from a 253 or 564 area code. Hopefully no scammers were listening to that. This week, the state is adding some new prizes, including guaranteed education tuition for 15 kids. That means teenagers can get a call that they're a winner.
What should kids be doing if they get a call from the lottery?
What I would do is I would just talk to my kids and let them know, if you get a phone call, please, come talk to me about this. Or, follow the same protocol. We encourage them, to be cautious and to check to make sure that it's really real.
Lottery officials say that last week's $250,000 winner did everything right. After he got the call that he was the winner, he then called the lottery office back directly to confirm that the call was legit.